Yeah, so picking up right where we left off in the last video, when I was recording this, it took a couple hours to actually draw and, color in and shade, but when I went to go edit all this footage, and even when I had footage sped up like I do here, but like even faster, the overall like video length was over an hour, and I was just all like, nope, we're not doing that. So I split it up into 2 videos, and it's significantly easier to manage both editorially and easier to watch. I'm not sure why splitting it into 2 videos significantly impacted the length, because together they do not make an hour long. When I was editing them in the same video, it was over an hour long. It was very odd. Either way, I should probably clarify if I didn't in my other video. At least I don't think I did. It's been a week, I've slept since then, so I don't remember what I said. The Skitty and the Glammeow have clipped ears in this portrait because they are representing my 2 cats in real life. They're twins and they're both rescues. We actually weren't planning on adopting them, but while we were rescuing them and their siblings to the best of our abilities, they kind of just chose us as the family, and we're all a bunch of bleeding hearts and softies in this house, or at least in my house, so we didn't want to like betray their trust after they chose us, and we were all like, I guess we have 2 new cats now, and they've integrated into the family very easily. They're very happy now. They're both very content to spend long days lazily sleeping in the sunlight and getting scratches and scrubs from all of the family members. But just as I've depicted visually, even though they're twins and they're siblings, they're very different in personality. My girl cat, represented by the Skitty here, she is very excitable and loves to play, but doesn't necessarily like to be held. She wiggles a lot when you try to, and she's just overall a very happy cat, but she's a little skittish around new people. The brother, he's a little more laid back than his sister. He very much likes just laying down next to people and chilling. He's a lab cat. He likes to be held. He's even a little bit of a tsundere, because there are times where he very clearly doesn't want to outright tell me that he enjoys my attention, but he very clearly enjoys my attention anyways. You can look at me as angry as you want and flip your tail back and forth in a passive-aggressive manner, but you're still purring. So either I'm doing something right whenever that happens, or he's a tsundere. I personally think it's a little bit of both. So when I originally started this portrait, my plan was to tell the story of how I adopted my 2 rescue cats, but as I was recording and then erasing and then recording and then erasing the story over and over again, the more I realized it sounds more like a crazy cat lady story than it actually is. So I guess I will give you guys a very shortened version of the story, and unfortunately it starts on a sad note, because the family cat that I had growing up, well, it wasn't mine, I wasn't her favorite person, my mom was her favorite person. She had just passed away, and it was very difficult on everybody. No one really knew how to deal with it, because this was the first time we had a pet die really in the family. It was somehow different, and we were looking at all of her supplies going, we have a ton of cat litter and cat food and treats and just crud, that we really weren't sure what to do with any of it, when within like the same week, within just a couple of days of her passing, my sister was sitting in the kitchen when she saw a cat on the back porch, a stray cat, and that's how it all started. Was we left out a little bit of dry cat food for this stray cat, and next thing we know, there's 2 stray cats on the back porch, both adults, and we're going, where'd the other one come from? We eventually determined that they must have been sisters, possibly from different litters, but definitely related. Same type of cat, same area where there's not a whole lot of stray cats. And then there were kittens, 2 little baby kittens, maybe a month old, and they would later become my Skitty and my Glammeow in this portrait. They were very, very young when we first met, and rather skittish, of course. And clearly they have been through something, because to this day, my boy cat does not like thunderstorms. He will go find somebody anytime it starts raining. And my girl cat hates being alone. She will go hunting for anybody in the house anytime somebody leaves to make sure someone is still home with her. I mean, they have each other, but clearly they've been through something, and we're not entirely sure what it was, because it took a while to figure out what we were going to do about this growing population of cats on the back porch, when it grew even larger. And suddenly there were even tinier kittens, all 6 of them, on the back porch. It was crazy. We were just all like, there's so many cats! The kittens are so cute, but there's so many cats! What are we gonna do? So, it was around somewhere in that time frame where we looked up the local humane society, and they informed us that this is also coyote territory, and if we don't want to start getting coyotes in our neighborhood, we need to make sure these cats can't continue to have babies. And we were just like, oh, what? Coyotes? I mean, I recognize circle of life, circle of death, but like, I don't want to contribute. So we borrowed some traps from them. These are the kind of traps that had like a pressure plate inside that you put a lightweight bowl filled with a little bit of treats like tuna or something inside, and cat walks in, steps on it, and then the doors close. Very harmless, doesn't hurt the animals. And that's also around the time when we learned that PETA is a nightmare. Or at least that was around the time when I learned never to trust PETA. I didn't have any experience working with PETA, but just looking things up online, I was like, I'm good, I think. But moving on from that, we started capturing the kittens and the cats to, get them all spayed or neutered as needed. And we only ended up catching 3 of the youngest kittens, my twins, the Skitty and the Glammeow, and both of the adult cats that ended up being the 2 litters' mothers. Not with each other. They're not lesbian cats. They just hung out a lot together, and so they had similar litters, and we think the father might have been the same father between them. We never met the father, and we didn't catch 3 of the youngest kittens. They disappeared one by one while we were in the process of catching them. It was, and it still is, painful to think about to a point, because again, I recognize the whole circle of life, circle of death thing, but I don't like thinking about what fate they meant, because I both know that one of our neighbors had been placing out rat poison for the stray cats, and another one had some very, very, very mean dogs, so I don't like thinking about it. So on that note, a happier note, we ended up catching my Glammeow and Skitty first, and that's how we figured out they were both, they were twins. One was a boy, one was a girl, and because they were inside first, they both had the opportunity to decide how they felt about humans and stuff first as well. The older mom cats were not having it. They were not going to be indoor cats or be adopted into a family and even be an outdoor cat for anyone. They were just not having it. But the babies, they were all young enough that with human exposure therapy, they could be. So that's what we were doing, is when we captured the little kittens after they were spayed or neutered, we would not only observe them inside our house after the surgeries to make sure that, they healed well and were okay, but we're also doing human exposure therapies to maybe get them adopted out to new homes. And it worked, but it also didn't, because my Glammeow decided he missed his mom, so we let him go back outside because that's where he wanted to be, and in the meantime, we held on to his sister because at that point, she was like, nah, it's pretty nice inside. But then, in the very same day, if we had let her brother out that morning, later that day, in the late afternoon, early evening, is when the Skitty decided I was her person, that she was not going to be fully happy unless the person who adopted her was me. I was very flattered. It was nice to be somebody's first choice, so I couldn't say no. I was just all like, okay, I love you. However, later that evening, it rained pretty dang hard. Thunderstorms. Thunder and lightning. Well, mostly thunder, not so much lightning. The lightning was really far away. But that one evening was enough for the brother to decide, I want back in. It was nice inside. I missed my sister. And so when I went to go set out some food for his mom and aunt, he darted between my legs back into the house. And that's how we ended up with 2 cats. The other kittens all got adopted out and are very happy in their new homes. The mom cats, they were relocated to a farm that often houses stray cats, where they have plenty of room to continue to be stray and feral and not be adopted by anybody, but they're also safe from coyotes and other predators. But that's precisely how I got my two kitties, my twins, and which is why, even though I am depicted here with a Glammeow and a Skitty representing them, if I was a Pokemon trainer, I would not have them battle. They would be non-battle Pokemon.